Did you know that almost 90% of the foods in your grocery store are processed or even highly processed foods? Very often you're going to find food dyes, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, preservatives, and other kinds of things that are not a part of that food's natural state. It's this highly processed food that really destroys our guts and even causes inflammation in the gut lining that leads to consequences downstream. Imagine if you could transform your health simply by choosing the right foods. Let's uncover the secrets behind whole foods and a whole food diet. Welcome back to the Ultimate Human Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Brecka, and today we're diving into one of the most foundational aspects of optimal health, the whole food diet. You hear me talk about this all the time. You should be eating whole foods, foods close to their natural state. Did you know that almost 90% of the foods in your grocery store are processed or even highly processed foods? This is taking them away from their natural state. Imagine if you could transform your health simply by choosing the right foods. Let's uncover the secrets behind whole foods and a whole food diet. To start, let's clarify what I mean by a whole food diet. So whole foods are foods that are minimally processed and remain very close to their natural state. You know, you often hear me say that it's not the food itself, it's the distance from the food to the table. So very often it's not the seed or the oil, it's the distance between that and the table when it gets into your refrigerator or makes it onto your shelf. So for example, the difference between a whole apple and processed applesauce or applesauce flavored products. So very often you're gonna find food dyes, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, preservatives, and other kinds of things that are not a part of that food's natural state. So very often we don't just freeze fruits and vegetables or meats, we also process them. It's this highly processed food that really destroys our guts, introduces things like nitrates, disrupts our gut bacteria, and even causes inflammation in the gut lining that leads to consequences downstream. So you hear me talk about this whole food diet. So let's talk about first, how do we approach our grocery store? First of all, I really suggest that people actually shop the perimeter of the grocery store. This is where you're going to find most of the perishables, the things that actually don't have a prolonged shelf life. Most food in its natural state has an expiration date. It has to be canned or preserved in order to extend its natural expiration date. So every time we go down the aisle, we are making a conscious choice to get away from the whole foods on the perimeter of the grocery store and potentially grab something that is highly processed. So this includes fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and even proteins. But unlike processed foods, which are often loaded with those additives and preservatives, whole foods will always retain their natural nutrients and benefits. So think about what this does when you eat a whole food. Remember, the satiation response, the brain's awareness that we have actually eaten and we have eaten enough to put enough nutrients into the body to satisfy us, that is largely triggered by the fact that we have gotten enough nutrients. You know, hordes of clinical studies have proven that people on a highly processed diet versus people on a whole food diet, given the exact same number of calories, will have much more of a tendency to overeat, to snack, and to get hungrier sooner when they're on a processed food diet. In fact, a recent study where participants were fed the exact same number of calories in whole foods, things like apples, eggs, oranges, meats, sausages, chicken in the morning versus a highly processed meal, within 30 minutes, people that ate the highly processed meal were actually hungry again because their blood sugar had fallen and they were addicted to those rises and falls in blood sugar. So for example, think of an apple versus an apple flavored snack, or a piece of grilled chicken compared to a chicken nugget. Whole foods are as nature intended them, packed with nutrients, free from unnecessary chemicals. So we've had so many amazing challenges this entire year that I decided that August, we're gonna take a break and it's just gonna be the strongest August ever, and it's just gonna be all about giveaways. I'm gonna give away 5 more of the Ultimate Human swag boxes.
These things are really cool. It says aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. You get an Ultimate Human t-shirt in your size. You get our Ultimate Human protein bars. You get a full month's worth of the perfect aminos, which I think you should be taking every morning. These are all 8 of the essential amino acids. You get the Baja Gold sea salt, one of my favorite ways to mineralize the body. You get the stirrer rod, because sometimes these don't mix well with water. I'm also giving you a full Echo Go Plus hydrogen water bottle and our Ultimate Human shaker. So these are going to go out to 5 people that just subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to pick 5 lucky winners, and I'm going to send you an Ultimate Human swag box right to your front door.
Now let's get back to the Ultimate Human podcast. You can take your whole food choices to a completely another level by making organic whole food choices, or even in certain cases, choosing the raw version of those whole food choices. Things like dairy, kefir vegetables, kefir, butters, these actually sometimes are available in their raw state, and they're even more packed with nutrients and less processed. Now, why should we prioritize whole foods in our diet? Let's explore the incredible benefits of whole foods. Nutrient density and bioavailability is something you hear me talk about all the time. Whole foods are nutrient dense, meaning they provide a high amount of vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial compounds relative to their caloric content. The nutrients in whole foods are also more bioavailable, meaning our bodies can absorb and use them more efficiently. These are things that we call metabolites, things the body recognizes, can break down, and most importantly, use as energy and eliminate the waste. Very often when we have pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, food dyes, fillers, and additives, as well as artificial flavorings and sweeteners, these are not things that the body recognizes. It's not that we have bacteria, or we do not have the right bacteria to break these down and turn them into structures that we can use in our bloodstream to power cellular energy. The impact on energy levels and mental clarity is another very well explored area for whole food choices. You ever notice a slump in energy after eating a fast food meal? Whole foods, in contrast, provide sustained energy and can improve mental clarity. This is because they provide steady blood sugar levels without the spikes and crashes associated with processed foods. Over time, incorporating whole foods into your diet can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease and diabetes, as well as obesity and a whole host of other diseases. This is supported by numerous studies, including those published in peer-reviewed journals, such as the one available on the National Center for Biotechnology's information website, which I will put a link to below. Now let's back this up with some science. According to a comprehensive review published on the Global Wellness Institute's blog, whole food diets are linked to numerous health benefits. These include better gut health, a stronger immune system, and overall well-being. Whole foods are rich in fiber, which supports a healthy gut microbiome, a key player in our immune system and overall health. Remember, 70 to 80% of your immune system is located right outside of your intestinal tract. Our GI tract is where all of the processing and breakdown of nutrients occurs, and where our energy stores begin their journey into your cells to create something called ATP. The immune system is sitting right outside the lining of our intestinal tract, and when we fill it with processed foods, we often will call the immune system to that location, and this causes inflammation and all kinds of downstream consequences. The National Center for Biotechnology information highlights how dietary fibers from whole foods actually promote gut health and prevent diseases. So how can you start transitioning to a whole food diet? Here's some tips that I use around my house. I try to keep as many fresh whole foods on hand as possible. Get the processed food out of the house, because when you're hungry, your willpower goes down in the tank. So for example, keep things like Parmesan crisps or natural organic corn tortillas. Keep things in the refrigerator like whole fat Greek yogurt, non-processed Greek yogurt, raw dairies, raw milks, raw cheeses, fresh fruits in their organic form, and always keep some nuts around. You can even keep them cold. It makes them a little bit more crunchy, and you can combine these whole foods to satisfy any sweet craving or satisfy that afternoon snack that's bringing you into the kitchen in the first place. In summary, let's recap some of the benefits of incorporating whole foods into your diet. Whole foods are nutrient dense, they can improve our energy levels, our mental clarity, and even reduce the risk of chronic diseases. I hope that's a reason to motivate you to pack your pantry with whole foods. By making small changes like choosing whole foods over processed ones, you can significantly impact your health and well-being. Take the first step today by incorporating more whole foods into your meals. Your body will thank you for it. Remember, your health is your wealth. By making simple changes to your diet, you can experience incredible transformations. Stay tuned for more tips on living your best life, and remember, it's just science.